Interest groups are formed by members of the public who want to change something in the political system or in the society. The focus of interest groups is very narrow. Has to do with the fact that if you have a whole wide scope of issues you're trying to change at once, a lot of those issues sometimes overlap and conflict with one another, and it creates a lot of discourse within the group, and eventually the group fractures. In my project, I chose to analyze several press releases by the pro-choice interest group NARAL. NARAL's point of view on abortion is that it is a critical part of our society, and it is important that abortions be funded in clinics that provide health services, not just abortions, be kept open to the public for these, so they can continue to provide these services. This interest group is very liberal. That is clearly shown by their combative attitude toward any group associated with the pro-life side of the argument on abortion. And in addition to this, they have a background in progressivism, a movement that is known for so this is an example. Not including these damages their arguments significantly. So their claims are not backed up by any expert opinions or outside experiences, so they just appear to be a group of people making assumptions. So personal experiences are important primary research, and without them, it appears that you're mostly just relying either on your own opinion or secondary and tertiary resources. When personal experiences, they're actual fact. There's things that have actually happened, and they can't really be argued with all that effectively. You can't discredit someone's experience. So without them, it's something else you can have in your argument that isn't there, and it could be fairly supportive of your point of view. Another thing that's not included is quoted research, and quoted research is important because it's research other people have done on a study. It's a statistic or a poll. It's not just your opinion; it's somebody else. So people see that and they say, "This is not just their opinion. It's not just what they're saying. It's someone else is saying this too." Opposing viewpoints are also when they're discredited with logic and reasoning are far more effective than when not. And so if you take an opposing viewpoint and you use a counter argument against it, you counter the argument that they're making, it adds a lot of validity to you because you can't when you're questioned about why you disagree with this point of view, you have actual evidence to back it up. You have evidence that you have collected that shows why you disagree with a certain source or a certain opinion. Whereas if you just blatantly attack them, there's no evidence to back you up. You're just attacking them, and you just start to look foolish, and you start to become discredited. People start to see you as less trustworthy. So there are reliable statistics included, and these strengthen the argument. So they have credible facts, they have true facts, true opinions, information that are included, which is true information. You can't argue with true information. So if the information supports your source, then you've got a freebie. In addition, the source contains analogies, but the problem with these analogies is that they are, if you're on the lookout for bias in the source, you're going to see right through them. They're making some pretty wild claims against the pro-life argument without any supporting evidence, which just makes it seem desperate. There is some strength these analogies add to the argument. The comparisons of pro-life supporters to things like extremists or their opinions as unpopular can make their supporters seem less credible, and it can turn some of their supporters or some voters who aren't sure what side they support to NARAL, to the pro-choice side of the argument. So a couple logical fallacies, one of them being ad hominem, which is where a group will go out and they'll just attack the credibility. They'll attack a person. They won't attack their actual information. And this is seen pretty clearly when they attack pro-life supporters in Congress. They say that they're trying to support extremist movements. They're not actually discrediting their argument. They're saying they're extremists. They're people who are not terror. They don't say that exactly, but they're comparing them to terrorists. They're comparing them to people who are violent, who are cruel, who are the people who take away other people's liberties. They're not attacking their argument. They're just going after the person themselves. A couple broad generalizations are made in these sources. For instance, it's a cynic would be wildly overplayed.